Here I am in Margaret River. I've come down here for a fun weekend. I'm going to be journaling and I'm going to be reviewing an amazing Delta Dolce Vita fountain pen. So get ready for me, goats, journaling and a fabulous pen. So I'm here to test the GOAT method of de-stressing. A Dolce Vita fountain pen, which I'll review with you later. And of course, my good friends who make me giggle, the goats. So no Wi-Fi, no email, just fun in the sun with my goat friends. See if these little jumping, greedy therapists can get me to dump my troubles and think about nothing. So they don't do Wi-Fi, they don't do email, they have a lot of food on their mind, I guess, but they just have fun. They eat whatever is around. They're probably going to try and eat my notebooks, my pen. They're certainly into the pellets I've brought. So here goes. I've come out here to see if somehow this chaos can create some internal calm. So far it's working. I've totally forgotten about anything that I was supposed to be concerned about. These guys are just amazing. There's something about journaling outside that just slows everything down. Having these guys around just reminds me, nature, the wind, the breeze, maybe some goat farts. It's kind of a great way to live and I'm having so much fun. But the idea is for me to bring my fountain pen here, sit amongst the goats, watch them, hang out with them, and use my beautiful Dolce Vita fountain pen. So the first thing I'm going to do is introduce you to this little beauty. So this is an Italian pen by Delta. It's a mid-size Dolce Vita. Now interestingly, Dolce Vita means the sweet life. And you know what? The sweet life isn't all about just having everything go smoothly. Sometimes the chaos absolutely creates giggles, laughs, and a truly sweet life. Maybe the message from these guys and from this pen with its luscious gold nib and beautiful, beautiful orange. I just love it. What do you think? Maybe the message is that everything doesn't have to be perfect. Sometimes the chaos is just what we need to have that sweet life. It's not about control. So I'm just going to stop the goats from running off with my notebooks and my scripts. And as far as goats are concerned, no scripts, just do it, just do life. I think that's the message. Today's plan is for me to use my journal to just do a brain dump. And I have a method that really helps me to decide what's important and what's not. What I will do in a moment is just use this journal to write down anything that comes into my head. If I've got flies, I've got goats, I'm so happy. So journaling with goats is kind of different to journaling anywhere else, but not to worry. I'm going to write down anything that comes into my mind, and sometimes early in the morning, it's the beginning of the day, I'm going to be doing this, and I'll also have a list of to-dos in my head. So the best way to deal with that, so what I actually do is I have a two-journal system. And now I've got a double goat system. So I actually sometimes have a double list. I have my journal for my brain dump, and here I'll just scribble down anything I want to remember. That's my to-do list. So if it makes it on the to-do list, I can take it off with me to work. Otherwise I spend 10 minutes. I just set a timer. I do 10 minutes of brain dump onto the page. So I'm going to start that. I think first of all I need to write, buy a new goat proof hat. So today I'm here in Margaret River with my friend Trixie and Chucky. So today I'm here, I can hear the wind, I better put air in the tires of my bike. And I'll just write 10 minutes or so. Once these guys settle down, I just write 10 minutes of all the things I need to do. And see, out of the chaos, it just comes calm. It's really nice. So you might not have any goats. You might not want to be around goats. They are a bit stinky. But getting outside, getting fresh air, taking your journaling out, take your favourite fountain pen or any pen if you're not into fountain pens, and just spend some time. Peace, calm. Yeah, they're a little pushy, but they're the best therapists out. And so I just sort of write down whatever comes to mind. It doesn't have to be any sort of sentence structure. Anything that just pops up, sooner or later, things that are bothering you or need solving will bubble up to the surface. And somehow the act of writing and writing with a fountain pen and being outdoors just kind of slows you down. So it slows down your brain, it slows down your thinking, and it helps you just take total control over the direction that your day's taking. It's still an amazing thing to do, no matter what time of the day. 10, 15 minutes of journaling outside. If you can find a handy goat, grab one. If you can't, there's always just the peace and quiet that can be magnificent. Oh, are you eating my script? Life doesn't need a script, does it, Trixie? We just don't need scripts. Goats just do what they want. I think that's what I'm going to have to do. So I'm going to do a separate little piece to camera for you with a really good review of this beautiful pen. I'm going to just enjoy this moment, and I'll let you have a bit of a watch of the goats while I'm doing some writing. So before we wrap up the goat chaos, I want to show you the pen I was journaling with today. This is the Delta Dolce Vita mid-size with an 18 karat gold nib. This color combo is kind of iconic. Bright orange body, black hands, really nice chunky trim. It looks like someone bottled Italian sunshine. Feels about right when you're sitting in a paddock surrounded by ridiculous baby goats. It is not a subtle pen, and honestly, that's part of the charm. In terms of size, the mid-size is a great middle ground. It feels substantial in the hand without being a giant log. I usually write with it unposted, and the balance sits really nicely just behind my fingers in the perlicue. The section's comfortable, the threads just don't dig in at all, and I can easily do a whole journaling session without thinking about my grip, which is kind of useful when a goat is trying to climb into your lap. Now, the star of the show is the nib. So this is the 18 karat gold medium nib. It's absolutely gorgeous, and you can see the ink that I've got in it. I'll show you that in just. This nib is, it's got the Delta emblem engraved on it, made in. So you can see I've got it inked in Pilot, Iroshizuku, Amairo. I really like this ink. It's like the color of the sky in Margaret River. Absolutely beautiful. So this nib being a medium, so you can see this nib is medium. It leaves a really nice wet line of ink, and you can see that there is some line variation, not a lot, and there's a little bit of bounce with this nib. I absolutely love writing with it. It does seem to dry out a little more quickly. That might be the ink, but I'm pretty happy with it. It glides without really feeling glassy. It's got a bit of feedback, which I really appreciate, especially if I'm outside. It just kind of feels lively but not fragile. It's not a flex pen at all, but it is a little bit soft, and I do really love it. A little bit of a cushion feel. It just makes longer writing feel really satisfying. And I'll just give you a little demo now of how it writes fairly quickly. Out with the goats, the conditions were, let's call them, less than controlled. I was writing at weird angles, sometimes kind of perched on my knee, goats nudging my arm, and a fair bit of dust and stuff in the air. The Dolce Vita coped really well. Not really any hard starts, no random skips, and certainly no dramatic ink burps, thank God. I could pick it up after giving a goat a little pat, and it just wrote. So this Pilot Iroshizuku ink does seem to really flow nicely with it. It does give a little bit of shading with some of the larger strokes, but it's the nib makes most inks look good. It's not really very fussy. So the pros with this pen, it's gorgeous. It has a ton of personality. The writing experience is genuinely enjoyable. It feels like a treat yourself pen, but it's one I'm actually happy to take outside and use, not just stare at in a drawer. So the cons, look, it's not cheap. It's definitely not subtle, and it's not the pen I'd be happy to casually drop in the dirt next to a goat hoof. So who is the Dolce Vita mid-size for? I think it's for someone who wants a joyful, characterful pen that makes them want to write and actually use their nice pens in real life. That's certainly me. If you prefer stealthy black pens and ultra-practical old beaters, this probably isn't your thing. If you like bold colour, a beautiful gold nib, and a pen that can handle a little bit of real-world chaos, baby goats included, this one does the job beautifully. So that's the Dolce Vita mid-size that survived goat journaling with me. So I hope you've enjoyed my goat therapy. It truly is greatest of all time therapy. They're cheap, they're fun, they're not for everyone, but they're definitely for me. And I would love to have you come back and look at some of my videos another time. I'm the Perth vet that goes outdoor journaling in different places, sometimes with goats, sometimes with dogs, sometimes just me. But I'll always find an interesting angle for you that involves dealing with stress, being outdoors, and I'll try to review some fountain pens and inks along the way. So I hope you've enjoyed this little look at a little slice of my life.